Not too long ago on this channel, we did a video discussing the question of whether Donald Trump is racist or not. In that video, we saw a caller phone in and highlight what they described as a long history of racist behavior connected to Donald Trump and his family over the years. The clip we're about to watch in this video actually comes from 2016, and I want to be completely transparent about that. But as I always say, I enjoy bringing my viewers clips and discussions that many people may have missed at the time. In this segment, we'll see a Nigerian novelist calling out what he believes is Donald Trump's racism, while another guest attempts to defend him. As usual, let's watch the clip in full, and then I'll share my thoughts toward the end.
The first ever black president will be followed by a president who's endorsed by the KKK. Bob, where does that leave you?
Could you pick some? I can't imagine anybody more marginal to American elections than the KKK. I mean, every 4 years the KKK comes up because people like Hillary Clinton want to bring the KKK up.
So it doesn't shock you, it doesn't horrify you. They're holding a rally in December to celebrate his victory.
Yeah, and so are probably the Knights of Columbus. Now, why don't you talk about the Knights of Columbus? Maybe you don't even know what the Knights of Columbus are.
Another extremist group?
It's the largest Catholic organization of Catholic males in the country. Let me just point out to you, it's inappropriate to talk about the KKK in the same sentence as Donald Trump or any Republican. They're utterly marginal. They wouldn't even exist if it weren't for every 4 years you trot them out.
Jim Manda.
Go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say about that.
You know, I find it really interesting. There seems to be a refusal to accept reality. So she's asked a question about the KKK, and it hasn't been engaged with, and instead we're being told that there's this other group called the Knights of St. Whoever. The point is the KKK exists. The KKK endorsed Donald Trump. The KKK stands for white supremacy, and that has to be acknowledged. That has to be pushed back on.
Is there nothing on the campaign trail that he said about race that hit you?
Yeah.
Did you worry about any of it?
No. In fact, you people keep magnifying it. The left in America and the left in Great Britain keeps magnifying it. But he talked about a lot of other things, and those things should get through.
And that is
too.
possible.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
If you have a fifth of Latinos or Hispanics voting for Trump all the same, maybe race wasn't an issue, even to the people he
I find that
talked
argument to be very troubling. The idea somehow that if Hispanic or even any people of color vote for somebody who's racist, it means he's not racist. I mean, every system of oppression has people who are in the group of the oppressed who somehow contribute to that oppression. So it doesn't even, it's not even a valid argument to make that because Hispanics voted for him, therefore. I think what we should do is look at Trump for who Trump has told us and shown us that he is. So let's look at what he said on the campaign trail. That's really what, because the only way we can judge the kind of president he will be is based on the campaign that he ran.
But maybe he didn't believe anything that he said, and maybe that's how you win a
But then that's
a
the
primary.
problem, because on the one hand, we're told that Trump's appeal is that he says what he thinks and he says it like it is and that sort of thing.
Oh, but
and then on the other hand, we're told that somehow he doesn't really mean it. So which is it? There's something very troubling about that.
No, I'd
Most
say something
Republicans,
entirely
even Paul
different.
Ryan, have accepted that Trump has been racist in his language. You don't.
That's not true. He hasn't been racist.
Textbook racism is the phrase
Let me
he
tell you,
used.
because of the, you're going to say this is
if you're
because
a
of
white man, you don't get to define what racism is.
Oh, I see. I don't
you really
get to
don't.
define it.
So a man who's been racist, you don't
get.
get to sit there and say that he hasn't been racist when objectively he has.
Do you know
and it's not about your opinion. They're objective things. Racism is an objective reality, and Donald Trump has inhabited that reality.
Do you know the false consciousness, which is the theory you're talking about, is a Marxist concept? And I have, in other words, I can't even open my mouth here because I'm a white male.
No, of course you can. I'm just saying to you that Donald Trump has shown us and has said things that are objectively racist.
No, he has
not.
not.
It's not about my emotion. But how
What has he said?
If he says to us, for example, that a judge, a United States judge, is unable to judge him fairly because he is Mexican, that is racist.
I'm
I'm sorry,
nearly
but
at the end of
looked at Judge Curiel, and he didn't look any other color than my color.
Well, that's not the point.
Well, it is the
It's
point.
about what your candidate said.
I'm going to move this on just for a final thought, which is, will Donald Trump govern in the same way that he campaigned?
No.
And that's a
He's
good
not
thing or a
gonna-
bad thing?
It's a proper thing. He showed you how he's going to govern starting the other night when he was dignified, charming, and very focused.
I think it's very sad. I think the standards have been so lowered for Donald Trump that because he manages not to behave like a spoiled child, he needs to be praised. I mean, it seems to, in some ways, this is kind of a crude analogy, but it's kind of like, you know, throwing a little tantrum and letting a little child drive a very sophisticated car. And so to say to us that we have to disregard everything that Donald Trump said and did during his long campaign and judge him just on the one day after he had won the election doesn't make sense.
What did he say that was so racist?
Guys, look, that video right there really exposed some of Donald Trump's supporters. I'll be honest, I actually need to do a bit more research on the guy who was defending him in that clip. I believe his name was Emmett Tyrrell, or something along those lines. I'll need to double-check that and see where he stands today. Because in that video, you could clearly see him trying to defend Donald Trump against accusations of racism. But you guys already know how we do things on this channel. We don't just throw out claims or make accusations without looking into them. We actually try to do the research and check whether the claims being made are true or false. So, I want to quickly walk you guys through a little bit of history regarding Donald Trump and some of the accusations of racism that have followed him for decades. Going all the way back to the 1970s, but for example, in 1973 Donald Trump and his company were sued by the U.S. Department of Justice for allegedly discriminating against black renters in their housing properties. That case ended up being settled with a consent decree that required the company to change its practices, although Trump himself did not admit wrongdoing. Another example that many people remember is the so-called birther conspiracy theory. Donald Trump was one of the most prominent public figures promoting the false claim that former President Barack Obama was not actually born in the United States. Then there's the Central Park 5 case. In 1989, Donald Trump took out a full-page newspaper advertisement calling for the death penalty after a brutal assault in New York City. The teenagers involved, who were black and Hispanic, were later fully exonerated when DNA evidence proved they were innocent. Even after that, Trump continued to insist that they were guilty. Fast forward to his 2016 presidential campaign launch. During that speech, Trump described Mexican immigrants as criminals and rapists, saying they were bringing drugs and crime into the country. That statement sparked massive controversy at the time and is still discussed today. More recently, we've also heard rhetoric on the campaign trail that critics say echoes similar themes, including comments about immigrants poisoning the blood of our country. Now, when you look at all of these examples together, many people argue that they paint a very clear picture. And when someone tries to dismiss or defend all of these incidents, it raises questions about where they stand on the issue. There are actually many more examples and controversies that could be discussed, but those alone already show why this topic continues to come up in political debates. But as always, I want to hear from you guys as well. Let me know your thoughts about this in the comments section down below. I always appreciate hearing your opinions and perspectives. And while you're down there, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell notification so you never miss a new upload. Also give the video a thumbs up so it can reach as many people as possible through the algorithm. I appreciate you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.